Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. So we have more major news today. Every day we come back, we have something good, and everything's been going great. We've been winning. We're going to start off with a little XRP news here, but this is not the major news. We're going to get to that in a second. Just bear with me. Here's an article titled, Ripple, Judge Denies SEC Motion for Hypocrisy. Haven't I been saying for the longest time that what the SEC has been doing has been extremely hypocritical? And the judge is saying the exact same thing here. This is on the cryptonomist.ch. Make sure you go there and check them out. They've been doing a great job. Judge agrees with SEC on lawsuit against Ripple. Well, let's read this little tidbit here. It says the issue is the motion by the state agency asking to be allowed to keep secret Bill Hinman's documents. Oh, the secret documents. The official document signed yesterday by Judge Netburn explicitly notes the SEC's hypocrisy in arguing with the court, given that they simultaneously claim that Hinman's speech was not relevant to the market's understanding of how or whether the SEC will regulate cryptocurrencies on the one hand, while on the other hand, Hinman sought and obtained legal advice from the SEC in drafting his speech. The SEC is going to lose. They have been losing. You can see the trajectory right now. We've all been calling it. I've been telling you this. Let's read just a little bit more. This whooping is getting very, very interesting, isn't it? The judge kicks it up a notch by stating that the litigation tactics adopted by the SEC are unnecessarily complicated. Didn't I say that before also, that they're piling the road, trying to throw as many boulders and rocks in the road as possible to delay the inevitable outcome. This is a stalling tactic of a loser, okay? If they had anything, if they could progress forward, then they would, but they cannot because they have nothing. They are only using stalling tactics, and the court is getting tired of that. And that's a good thing for us. It works in our favor. But the judge clearly sees what's going on. It says, she then concludes the argument in a decidedly peremptory manner. Quote, accordingly, the predominant purpose of the communications was not to provide legal advice to aid the SEC in conducting the public's business. The documents must be produced. Boom. Oh, we're going to get a look at those secret documents. Oh, yes, we will. And we're going to tear them apart and find every little thing that's in them that we can use to win this case. And when I say win, I mean a crushing victory, a crushing defeat for the SEC. Oh, I can't wait. I hunger for the victory. Let's read just a little bit more here. Then we're going to get on to some major news. And I called it again. I told you. I know it's coming. Cause and effect. But we'll get to that in a second. The SEC's motion thus fails. And at this point, the agency presumably cannot move forward with litigation. Didn't I just say that? I told you. This is my first time reading this article. I just saw the headline. I said, let me throw this in here and give you a quick analysis of it. But cause and effect, like I said, if you can apply cause and effect and you understand causality, you understand conditions, cause and effect, how causes rise out of certain conditions and then effects rise out of the causes, some effects then obviously becoming causes themselves, then you can almost have, this predictable ability that is similar to what like psychics use. A lot of these psychics out here, of course, they're not really psychics, but they're using cause and effect given the conditions that they can observe. We can go into that a little deeper, but let's continue on here. Says the agency presumably cannot move forward with litigation against Ripple unless it produces this documentation, namely Hinman's speech. Cough up the papers, SEC. It's time. It is time. Checking my watch. Yeah, it's about that time for you to lose. We're in the championship rounds and you are buckling under the pressure. You're being exposed. The judge sees you for what you are. And you know what that means, don't you? See, the bank coins, we're helping out all the other coins because once we defeat the SEC, then it will set a precedent. I've been saying this for an entire year. It will set a precedent and an archetype for all the other cryptocurrencies to be able to defend themselves appropriately from the SEC. If they're sufficiently decentralized, that is, right? To be regulated as commodities and not as securities, According to Ripple's attorneys, Hinman's very speech could clear the company of the charge of marketing XRP as an unregistered security. That's unbelievable that they even said that. Oh man. I could go into the whole, comparison of cryptocurrencies and how people, purchase cryptocurrencies in hopes of a return on investment, sort of like what they do with Forex. Forex trading is the same thing. You buy US dollars and you're hoping that this goes up, or you're betting that it goes down, whichever way. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, let's get to some major news. I told you before, we're going to bring major companies in to the XRPL via NFTs. And I said it was only a matter of time before we start getting people in like Lamborghini and Ferrari. But you know what? I forgot about other marquee companies, and we just got one. This is huge because it's going to bring a lot of other big names. Here we go. This is on U.Today. Make sure you go and check them out. They're doing a great job over there. Ducati chooses Ripple as blockchain partner to launch NFT. Let's read this little tidbit here. We're just doing too good. We can't lose. Money is getting bigger. The wealth is getting bigger. And we're becoming just more legitimate with every single day, more prestigious, more respected with each day. We're at the top. We're the cream of the crop, like Macho Man used to say. I love victory. I live off the energy of victory. Italian motorcycle manufacturer Ducati has announced plans to launch its first NFT collection in partnership with NFT Pro and Ripple. This will be the first such initiative from a world-renowned motorcycle manufacturer aimed primarily at increasing contact with its community and raising brand awareness. With this decision, Ducati declares its entry into Web3 space. Ducati is well respected. It is a very exclusive community. Any of you riders out there, you know how it is. A lot of Ducati riders, they like to ride together. They have events. They have their events. It's only Ducatis there most of the time. Don't get me wrong. You got a straight Ducati rider, every once in a while riding with a regular motorcycle group. But Ducati riders, they hold themselves at such a high level. Keep in mind, it's a work of art to just be on a Ducati. This is one of the reasons they're so well respected. You love that Ducati sound. I don't know. It's this weird sound it makes. It doesn't sound like other motorcycles, right? Okay, so I love Ducati, all right? Just as a work of art, I don't ride a Ducati or anything like that. I just love Ducatis. I've always loved them since that movie that came out when we were younger. Right? I said I'm bringing you into my age group. What was it called? Fled? Remember they were on the Ducatis? What was it? 686? Anyway, Lawrence Fishburne and one of the Baldwin brothers, I think it was Stephen Baldwin, were riding those Ducatis in the movie. Oh, you don't remember it? Fled. It was a good movie. Anyway, I've always loved Ducatis since that time. It's just a work of art. I love them. So this is huge. Listen. I'm going to call it right now. I think we're going to, over the next few months, we're going to bring even more major brands. And that's what I love about Ripple. They're going for the major brands. So now we have Ducati. I believe that we can also land Lamborghini and Ferrari. I believe that. And you know what? I don't mind if Algorand lands Lamborghini or Ferrari or Porsche or Stellar or someone brings them in. I think more so Hedera would, because Hedera is very powerful right now their NFT sphere is exploding. They have one of the best NFT ecosystems. So I don't mind if any of them pull them in, but I'm gonna lean towards Ripple right now because they seem to be pulling in the major brands, and landing Ducati is going to bring more eyes to the XRPL and XRP based NFTs. That's how I feel right now. And this is a great thing that they're doing here. So let's just read just a little bit more. Okay, it says NFT Pro is supposed to be responsible for the development of the collection as the company specializes in corporate white label NFT solutions. There you have it. So they're trying to bring in the top brands, just as I said. They just use wording that's a little bit different than I use, but it's pretty much, it means the same thing. Ripple, or rather XRP Ledger, will in turn be responsible for the blockchain part of Ducati's NFT projects. I'm trying to think, who else in motorcycles could we bring in? I would love to bring in Yamaha, but I believe I know which way Yamaha may go with their NFTs, but we'll see. I'm not going to put that out there just yet, but I think I know because of certain projects that they worked on in Japan. I will say, you know what? We'll stop there. But when we can start getting top brands, and I think that XRPL, we could land Bugatti. I believe that we could. It's going to take a few meetings, some convincing, but I think we could land Bugatti. There's certain certain mechanisms that would have to be input. I believe Ducati would want inputted when they bring their brand to the forefront as an NFT offering, if they were to do that. But I believe we can land. I believe XRP can land Ducati, Algorand, and I believe also Hedera is in there because of their governing council has a lot of power. And I believe that Bugatti, Lamborghini, or Ferrari would sit down with Hedera, knowing that Google is involved with them, FIS is involved with them, Boeing, so they're well respected, okay? That's why I think that way, but this is huge. Every day there's something great happening. So then let's go on here. We have some other news. Let's cover a few more articles here. And inflation, I told everyone, I've been saying this for a long time, that deflation is the threat. Inflation is here. However, because of the panic, haven't I been saying this for months, guys? Because of the panic that is in the people, they are hoarding cash. Then you have the Fed is panicking because everyone's looking at the Fed and saying, hey, solve this problem that you caused. And it's very true. They did cause the problem. So the Fed itself is reacting in a very panicked way. Now, there's one of two ways you can go when you're panicked. Either you can say to yourself, oops, I'm feeling anxiety, I'm panicking. Let me go to the extreme to stop this, which they could completely crush the economies if they wanted to. They can heighten basis points much more. They can raise it many more basis points, right? Which a lot of people call for. But that will lead to deflation. They are afraid of deflation. Deflation is worse than inflation, okay? Like I said, do your own research. I've covered that topic many times on this channel. But now you have articles coming out saying U.S. inflation hits 40-year high of 9.1%. That means what? What could be the possible effects that come out of this cause? The possible effect that I'm going to look at primarily would be that the Fed may have to raise basis points even higher, which means what when it comes to the crypto markets or stock markets? That means brace yourself, just in case, brace yourself. If they decide to raise basis points a little bit higher for in this next coming meeting or whatever they're going to be doing in the future, then that definitely could impact markets. So all of those quick money plays and stuff like that everybody's using, be careful and protect your money at all times, because if they decide to raise basis points a little bit higher, be a little bit more aggressive, then that can negatively affect the markets. So you want to keep your eye out for those catalysts and protect your money at all costs. We're here to make money, not lose money, and you cannot be lazy when it comes to making money. You can't. You have to stay on your toes at all times, stay on your square, keep your chin down, your guard up, and protect yourself at all times. So let's just read this a little bit here. It says, key takeaways, let's just read the bullet points. U.S. inflation hit 40-year high of 9.1% in June 2022. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics confirmed today, so it's official. Rising energy and gas costs were the biggest contributors to the surge. Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market plummeted in response to the CPI print. Okay, so there you have it. As a result of the continually rising U.S. inflation, markets are already betting on another 75 basis points hike from the Federal Reserve later this month. But we always knew that it would possibly be another 75 basis point hike. What I would look at is that the fact that that's a little bit higher. Look, 9.1% is a little bit higher than what was anticipated from all the data that I gathered. And I try to make sure my sources are varied, so I have differing opinions, and then I can just come up with the average of what I believe to be true, right? Take a little information from here, do a little information from there, and then come up with the average and make up my own mind. So that's a little bit higher than what was predicted. And because of that, we cannot rule out the possibility that the Fed may become a little bit aggressive in the near future. They may have to, which would lead to deflation, a deflationary period. Now, I did see, and certain people are starting to get on board with these ideas that I have been talking about for months now. I did see Kathy Woods of ARK Invest was also talking about possible deflation. I think it's inevitable. Now, keep in mind, look, we're talking about protecting our money. Okay, this is something that we have to cover here, or else I would not be doing my absolute best for you. Now, keep in mind, so you have inflation here, a little bit higher, the possibility of Fed aggressiveness. Then we have certain economic things that could happen in the future. Okay, keep in mind, just keep your eye on those catalysts like food shortages, food processing plants have been having some issues. Okay. Now there's certain oil or gas companies are having similar issues. I don't want to go too deep on that because this stuff can, YouTube doesn't like that. But because of that, there can be a shortage in the supply of certain things. That will also make a great impact on the economy. The problem is that those things will not be reported en masse until the last second. Then also, like I said, towards the end of the summer, keep in mind, we need to keep our eye on the catalyst of possible coal shortages. I covered a lot of this in the members only videos. Possible coal shortages, which have already been making the report rounds that there could be rolling blackouts in certain areas because there's a shortage of energy. Most of the electrical grids around the United States run off of coal. There is a coal shortage that can also have a negative impact on the economies and the markets, okay? So when we're trying to protect our money, we need to know these things so we're not blindsided. Who wants to lose money? I definitely don't. So we have to keep privy and abreast of these situations. I've been trying to give everybody everything I can here to protect your money at all costs. I'm definitely going to take actions. So I'm just keep my eyes open. So we have that happening here. Then let's go on to this. We've also been covering this in the members only section. The greenness agenda of the European Central Bank. If you haven't already, hit that little join button down there. Get in that members only section so you can be privy and abreast of these different situations going on before they even happen. The members only section already knows that this is a possibility. And I told them that any non-bank coin is at risk because they're not green and they haven't moved fast enough to green up their blockchains, and so they may suffer in the future. And here we have a little bit of news on this. CryptoBriefing.com. ECB, the European Central Bank, says Bitcoin ban is probable. This will be bad for Bitcoin holders. Bitcoin ban probable due to climate concerns. Like I'm trying not to give too much away. Like I said, that last members only video should tell you a lot, or it was within the last two, of what the European Central Bank just took action that is mandatory. This will come to pass unless, Bitcoin people better move quickly. And I think Bitcoin can have a bright future. I do. I think they're going to explode in price because of a variety of reasons. But they need to press for their developers or whoever, engineers, whoever it is building on Bitcoin, to take action quickly so that they can green up that blockchain and this will not affect them. So key takeaways here. First bullet point. The European Central Bank has come down hard on proof of work blockchains in a new research article. They did more than that. They did more than that. You have to understand what's going to go into their monetary policy. I've been telling people to stay informed on the monetary policy, and now it's starting to rear its ugly head. So yes, they've done much more than this. Next bullet point. The research article compares proof of work algorithms to fossil fuel cars. Are you getting the idea? While likening proof of stake to electric cars. Oh, how nice. The article speculates that the EU would not proceed with planned restrictions on fossil fuel cars without also taking action against proof of work cryptocurrencies. If you're a Bitcoin holder, prepare yourself. Take action, protect yourself. So many people are not taking actions. I'm going to leave you all with this. I have been promoting not only doing your own research since I started this channel, but reaching out and using your power to speak to your senators, to speak to your congressmen, to write to whoever is in power and let them know how you feel. Your voice counts. Your power is felt. I put out the numbers in quite a few videos to the European Central Bank. I made many calls to the Bank of International Settlements. And actually, I made a video where I actually showed my call log. This was a while ago. But I make plenty of calls. The Bank of International Settlements, I put their number out there. The IMF, I put their numbers out there, and we all know I called the Fed many a times, and I emailed them as well. The Fed is actually one of the easier organizations to communicate with, right? And like I said, IBM was actually the most difficult institution to communicate with because they just kept leading me around in a circle and wouldn't give me the information that I was seeking. But you can reach out to these people and let them know how you feel and how this will negatively affect you, and let everybody else know around you. Hey, contact these people. We have so many viewers in the United States, in Europe, all across the world. It doesn't matter where you are. You need to reach out and let these individuals who are they're supposed to be representatives of you, let them know how you feel about these things, what you think. And if you don't agree with this type of stuff, and it's going to affect you negatively, you have to let your voice be heard. That's how I feel. You can do what you want, but if you want to take destiny into your own hands, you have to be willing to take actions. Your lack of action is actually an action in itself. There is nothing that happens without action. Everything is action. right? So everything is, other than that, everything is looking pretty good here. But also what that indicates is, if they're going away from things that are non-green, as I iterated many times before, and I will reiterate now, the bank coins are in there. They're in the door. They're safe. You see the article the other day. They are now within the finalists for CBDCs for the Bank of International Settlements latest contest. That means they're the best of the best, and that the Bank of International Settlements, the bank of all banks, has their eye on Ripple, Stellar, and FIS was in there. So we'll wait to see if FIS is actually building on Hedera, because they're on Hedera's governing council. So we have 3 of the bank coins are in there, and they're green. They're not only green, they're carbon neutral or carbon negative. So we're in the door. We're safe. We're good. We're good to go. So that's also what it indicates. They have no problem with the bank coins, but all the other crypto, they're at major, major risk. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm doing. I messed up my own catchphrase. How do I get tongue-tied at the end? Where was I get? Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.